Yes, guys, welcome back to another week of the weekly roundup. It's week 27, and I'm joined obviously by Cryptoinsightuk UK, and we've got some news for you this week again, as always, and we'll also touch into some crazy price action that took place yesterday, which was because of obviously what you can see on your screen right now. Obviously, we had CPI read yesterday. Everyone was expecting it. Everyone was kind of, anticipating a bit of volatility, which is definitely what followed and actually what happened before. But it came in at 8.2%. I think it was expected at 8.1%, so 0.1% off. But it still had I think the price moved 15% yesterday. I think I'm talking about XRP specifically because it's 5% up today. But obviously before the CPI reads came out, I think the markets were down 5-6% was it in the morning. And then as soon as this kind of got released, thought its way back up and closed actually in the green yesterday for something. So it was a bit of a mad day yesterday.
I have talked about this a little bit in the newsletter, but let's just talk about it a little bit because I think it's worth talking about. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I think it was XRP specifically was 9% down. I haven't talked specifically about XRP. I've talked about crypto in general in the newsletter, and I've just highlighted the point that people are just panicking. People are just panicking. The pre-CPI reads, they're like, "Oh crap, what do we do?" The CPI experts are coming out saying that it's probably going to be higher than anticipated. So people are selling off, anticipating a bad inflation CPI read, and it does come in 0.1% over, but maybe it's an overestimation. Maybe people priced in too much of an overestimation, or maybe this is a fake rally. We won't know for a day or 2 days what the actual outcome of this is going to be, but it's just crazy. It shows how twitchy people are on the trigger of pulling buys and sells in the market.
Yeah, it's nuts. I think if you look at the charts, like Bitcoin or whatever altcoin you want to look at, and you look at periods where the price has moved most significantly, it lands literally within a day or two of the CPI read. So it's the only thing that's kind of moving the markets right now. And because everyone else thinks obviously we're all doom and gloom. So the only news that can kind of potentially move the market seems to be coming in the form of CPI reads. So it's nuts how people are just reacting so volatile to some sort of CPI reads.
They're just scared of of obviously what that means down the line, aren't they? So what the Fed are going to do off the back of that. But yeah, people are putting a lot of weight onto CPI. Exactly like you're saying, I feel like there's so much going on that the CPI is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Either way, it's kind of even 0.1%. People are expecting it to be worse than that, but imagine the CPI being worse than expected, but the market's still rallying. It's mad. It's mad.
This is what I mean.
So
I dread that I hope really touch wood we don't get a really bad CPI read because God knows what will happen to the market because people will just go absolute bananas and just start selling off. I can see that happening. But we'll move on to this tweet here by Will Clement. Just thought I'd add it in because it's quite funny actually. Because how do we expect obviously our CPI reads and everything to get better when we've got people like this in charge? But I think Janet Yellen, I think it was on the 11th of October, she tweeted, and I quote retweeted it on our Twitter as well. She's basically saying she wasn't worried about anything. We haven't seen any indications of financial instability in our market, which is just a daft comment anyway. And then literally 24 hours later, she said, "I'm concerned about the loss of adequate liquidity in treasuries."
Did you quote retweet this? Because I quote retweeted it as well.
No, you quote retweeted this, but I quote retweeted her comment after this comment here.
Yeah, because I've written about this
next to it because
I've written about this as well. It's this. I think
it's just crazy.
As much as it's funny in that, it shows. I've compared it to the Bank of England and how it shows that they can flip-flop in policies so easily with what they say. What they're saying is just literally for the market. It's not for anything else.
Yeah, literally.
So,
but you can't. I was just kind of relating it to how consumers are acting so volatile at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, how do you blame consumers acting so volatile when we've got people like Janet Yellen, who holds such a significant role, chopping and changing her opinion? It just kind of doesn't give the consumers any confidence at all, and it just kind of adds fuel to the fire, in my opinion. Anyway, that's why I thought I'd relate it in.
No, I like that.
But it's just crazy.
I haven't really talked about that, to be honest. But I've not really thought about it that way. But how are you going to keep the people calm when you've got the leaders just absolutely just chatting crap?
she doesn't even know what's going on. These people don't know what's going on. So like, how do you expect the consumers to kind of be calm with their investments? It's obviously not going to work, is it?
No, it's weird.
It's not. It's no good. But some good news to come out of this week. Two bits of good news, which are the next two stories,
This piece is
and
massive. Not gonna lie.
pretty massive news. It is pretty massive news. Obviously, Google, being one of the biggest household names, biggest companies in the world, have obviously partnered up with Coinbase to accept cryptocurrency for cloud services. I think this is only for a certain amount of their clients, and they have come out and said they're looking to expand that clientele throughout the year, whatever. But nonetheless, it's a massive like partnership. You've got Google jumping into like the blockchain Web3 space kind of thing, and allowing cryptocurrency for cloud service payments. It's massive for the thing. It didn't really move the market. Obviously, you don't really expect it to when we're in such a time of uncertainty, but for crypto space in general, it's massive. It's great news.
It's huge. Like, it's being recognized by the biggest, like you say, household names in the world, and like this should give anyone who's kind of like doubting the crypto space anymore, like the thought of, well, it's actually being accepted, even if it's just the start of like the acceptance. They're going to have to put infrastructure into place to be able to accept payments in this, so they can just scale that up over time to wherever they might want to. So it's like, it's a huge step in the right direction. Like, Google now accept cryptocurrency for one of their services. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's good. Like I was saying to Will off camera just before, this episode literally the stories are covering. There's been a lot of like integration in this week, I think, because we'll move on to this, which kind of does link with that because it's just massive, because it's another huge story as well. But BNY Mellon is now the first US bank to provide crypto custody. So these guys are going to be able to, well, we'll just read it here. The bank of BNY Mellon now allows consumers to deposit their cryptocurrency holdings. So they're holding both fiat and crypto in the same bank. Now, they're America's oldest bank as well.
Yeah, they've got.
So that's huge. Obviously,
go on. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, obviously, that's coming out of America as well, which at the moment stands as not crypto. They're not opposed to crypto, but obviously with the SEC doing what they're doing, it's coming out of like obviously the biggest powerhouse at the moment anyway in the world. For them to make that first step and integrate crypto and fiat is huge as well.
Yeah. So in regards to like BNY Mellon, I think they've got like $2.5 trillion of assets under management, but I think they're one of the biggest custodians in the world at something like $46 trillion.
The next thing we're going to discuss, again, integration, expansion, FTX launches crypto debit card in 40 new countries. So I don't know if the weekly insight was about back then. It could have been. I think it was actually April. Back in April, I think it was already this year that they launched it in the US, but now they're actually going to be rolling this out in 40 new countries. So again, it's just the reason I've included it in this week's roundup is because it just echoes what we've been saying literally every week whilst we've been in this bear market, is that you've got a lot of companies, a lot of blockchain companies specifically, like building during the bear market, and they're just kind of gearing up for the next bull run, which I've got another story over there, but we'll discuss it. I tweeted about it earlier. But nonetheless, 40 new countries are going to be having FTX and Visa's crypto debit card, and we can kind of link that in with this if this loads. Yeah, cool. So I don't know who or where this has come from in MasterCard, but someone in MasterCard, Bitcoin and crypto will become an everyday way to pay, as seamless as making a contactless card payment. So I think that this is the end goal, and which is why obviously FTX and Visa have partnered up. So I'm guessing that which I don't really think is too far down the line at this point, is where we literally have a card where you can hold your crypto on and you can go into a shop and just tap it onto the card reader and boom, it's just as easy as using Apple Pay, for example.
Yeah, literally.
But good. It's again, it allows integration within the crypto world and everyday life. Do you know what I mean? So that's what that's kind of targeting, which is great, bullish.
I think the next step to get towards something like that is if we start to get regulation for stable coins and they start accepting stable coins into places, because then all you need is like an AUM, like whatever it's called, like an automatic market maker or whatever they're called, and then just a card like interface, and then every single time you just pop your card, you'll probably just be able to pick whether you want to pay in like, I don't know, XRP, Bitcoin, whatever, and it will automatically exchange it into the stable coin that they're already like regulated to accept, and then you just pay in that, and then that'll probably be it. How close is that? Like, I mean, we already have almost instant cash outs. If they already accept crypto in general on like a POS machine, then it can be integrated now. Like, how easy is it for us to just like scan a QR code and send some crypto over? It's just the next step is just to make it easy for everybody who might not even want to do that. They just want to have their exchange account, maybe like a Coinbase account on their phone, maybe even like a Coinbase card on their Apple Pay. Boom, as soon as stable coins are regulated, bang, swaps it into stable coin, pays it out.
Literally, I guess, literally, like you said, they're just waiting for legislation, because that sounds like a more of a like successful route to take when you're trying to implement this. But it shows that they're still like they're getting ready for that legislation, which they know is coming, whether it be like end of this year or next year at some point. We know it's around the corner. They're just putting the building blocks in place and ready for like to use this kind of technology for us to use in everyday life kind of thing. So, and whilst we're on that topic, actually, I kind of just read this this morning, is that MetaMask will allow US users to buy cryptocurrencies directly from their bank accounts. So again, just something that makes the tweet that I tweeted out earlier this morning was the fact that, we've got another big MetaMask company, whatever, they're making it easier for your everyday investor, your average Joe, to kind of come in and get involved in the space and just convert that fiat into crypto as easy as possible. I think we said it last week and potentially the week before. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that they need to make it as easy as possible to change that fiat currency over to the cryptocurrency, get them involved in the space, and MetaMask are taking like a huge step in that direction, because they're going to allow that direct transfer straight away like that.
Yeah, and how much
which is good again.
Extra accessibility is this going to give to anyone who wants to hold like an NFT? This will help so much with people like Starbucks, because they won't even need to buy ETH or anything to get an NFT now. They'll just go download that MetaMask wallet and pay $20 worth for this NFT, and it'll probably automatically convert into ETH and then out into an NFT.
This is what I mean. The only thing I can think about right now, I'm reading not even just specifically this MetaMask story here, but obviously a lot of other stories. I can just see like the next bull run just going absolutely parabolic, because, like I said, not just MetaMask are putting building blocks in place right now to make it so easy for people just to adopt this kind of technology and jump on it and try and make a bit of money, or whether they just want an NFT for the sake of having an NFT because they think it looks cool or whatever. But doing things like as small as this, not even small, this is actually massive, but doing things like this is just going to make that adoption curve just go like from there to like almost vertical, because people can just literally do it at a touch of a button. And that's the main thing in my head for mass adoption, mass crypto adoption anyway.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's like what we talk about when even with gaming or anything. Some people are just gonna buy when NFTs are like super easy to buy. You'll get kids buying them at school just because they want to like show their mate like a cool blooming picture or whatever it might be. I don't know. Like even an NFT for Starbucks, if you can then make, if you can like personalize your account, people are gonna be like, yeah, I've got the Starbucks Platinum membership just for the sake of having it. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's gonna be massive. But we'll move on to some Ripple specific news at the end, like we always do. So they've, as you can see here, Ripple taps France and Sweden for ODL expansion. They've signed deals for its ODL system with Lemonway and Expat. I think that's how you pronounce it. We'll just go with Expat anyway. Yeah, one being French and one obviously being Swedish. Yet again, just shows Ripple cracking on with their day-to-day work despite being sued by the SEC over there in America. They're still operating, like Brad Garlinghouse said in an interview a while ago, they're still operating as if they've lost the lawsuit. They're still cracking on elsewhere outside of America, because they know what they're working on. They know what they're building over there. So, and it's good to see they're still cracking on expanding the ODL corridors.
Yeah, I think this one's an interesting one because like with Lemonway, again, it's another, they're using their treasury again. So it's another treasury like being leveraged there. So I think that's really interesting. Okay. And then with Expat, I think it's just the Swedish krona into the Thailand, the baht, is it? Was it the baht in Thailand?
Yeah, baht, yeah.
So,
that's Expat, yeah.
So that's what we've got there. But like, it's another corridor opened up, and like we talk about network effects, is when you open up one extra corridor, it adds it into the system of all the ones that have already been made. So that's how obviously Metcalfe's law works, and it makes the network more valuable because there's so many more connections on that network now. Just from one extra, every single time we get extra now ODL corridors, it's making the network like 20 times more valuable every single time. Like an extra corridor comes into the system. It's crazy.
That's mad. But yeah, again, even despite the current market conditions, they're still getting on with it, which is good. It's good to see from Ripple, especially if you're an XRP holder.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And
it's real
talking about
world,
XRP,
real world use case as well, isn't it? That's another real world
that's
use
it.
case. We're actually solving a problem with XRP. But yeah, that's the one that's
That's
had that.
literally it. So we've obviously got this came out this week. Again, it's kind of been a bit. I feel like the case has been simmering now. We're just kind of still simmering. But Judge Torres over she basically granted Aramit's and Tapjet's request to file an amicus brief, which the SEC opposed. I think last week. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So they've kind of just again said no to an SEC delaying tactic, and these two are now allowed to file amicus briefs. And I think I read somewhere something else that there's a couple more who are now going to be trying to submit an amicus brief as well, who work with Ripple and obviously use XRP. So more pressure on the SEC. What do you think about this?
I didn't know there was more filing, but I think that the fact that Torres, I don't even think she acknowledged the SEC's objection. I literally just think she just said, yeah, file. File your amicus briefs, not even acknowledging the SEC. It's like, maybe that she's like losing her cool with the SEC a bit now, and I hope she is. Like it's cool to see, like it, and it makes sense. Like if it actually is going to affect their business, so why the hell would they not file an amicus brief? Like if they're using XRP as a currency, and the SEC are trying to say that it's a security, and it's affecting could affect their bottom line, their profit at the end of the year or whatever. So absolutely, they should be filing amicus briefs if they're using it as a currency. But it obviously puts them in a vulnerable position, because then I guess if they lose the suit, then they've been trading a security the whole time. So, but
then maybe that just shows the confidence that they have in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it also shows the judge. It shows the judge look, whatever the SEC are trying to do here, you can't really stop us from doing this, because we're trying to be innovative in this country, and we've been using it in this way, and there's no real guidelines anyway. I think that's what it shows. It shows that it's actually helping American business, and the SEC are just trying to crush it. And even if it's not just the judge, it's the Congress and everyone who has eyes on this case are probably thinking, oh well, here's another two companies that are actually leveraging crypto and want to be using that and want to be using this asset, and we've got the SEC crushing innovation against one of our own companies.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, obviously a win-win for Ripple, because like you said, I do also believe that the judge is slightly losing her cool with the SEC. She knows what they're just trying to delay, and I guess she's just getting sick of it now, and then just kind of granted it now as well. But I don't know where I've read it. I think it was a tweet, and I don't know if it was more of a speculation tweet over solid facts, but I think someone said that there's a couple more companies who will be looking into filing some sort of similar. But I guess time will tell. We'll see what happens. I'm sure something will come out over the next couple of weeks in regards to this case. But I think for Lanza, I think he's gone on holiday for 2 months, 2 weeks. So Deaton will be taking over. So it'll be his tweets on our screens next week. But I think that's everything for the stories. We can take a quick dive into the charts and just kind of illustrate what happened yesterday, because it was nuts. At the start of the day, I was thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Here we go again.
Well,
I was thinking the worst.
I've got a little bit of cash on the side for one of my clients, and I've been waiting for an entry, and I text them to say we're ready, but we're not quite ready, and then it's blooming wick back out again. So we're still sitting with that cash.
I did have a feeling something like that was going to happen, to be fair, because I knew regardless, yesterday was going to be a volatile day. I think I spoke about it in my newsletter, because there was some on-chain data which also suggested a lot of whales basically moved their Bitcoin back onto exchanges. I think a couple of days ago, obviously a day before CPI reads, which is a clever move anyway. That's the reason why. But as you can see here, this is XRP specifically. Like I said earlier on, it experienced from the bottom of the wick yesterday to the top of the wick today. We've experienced a 15% swing, which is just nuts. Obviously we know cryptocurrency is subject to volatility like this, but 15% over just a 0.1 CPI read.
Exactly.
It honestly baffles me.
That's the crazy part about it. It's a 15% swing, which obviously can happen any time in crypto. But it's not just because of crypto. It's just a random swing because people are scared about CPI. That shows how twitchy everyone is right now. So twitchy. And the same with the DXY. The DXY shot up and then shot down. And I don't really... look, that wick there. It came up then came down. But the thing that I've been worried about is that it could have been a fake out rally. And like I was saying... and I don't know, have you got the QNT chart there on your watch list or not? Do you know?
No, I can add it in.
Just quickly add it up, because I just want to see. It's either one will do.
5% up there as well.
What did it wick to?
It wicked to 138.79.
All the way to 175. Yeah, because I actually
175
I made a trade.
Wow.
Made a trade on QNT. I bought in at 133, and I've had my take profit at 175. So if it has actually hit 175, it's hit my take profit.
Yeah,
So
it must have. Yeah, just about. It depends where you
that,
put it on, which exchange. But this is Coinbase. But
so I did
that's
put
actually mad. I
that.
didn't even know that was going on with Quant.
Yeah, I did put that trade out actually on Twitter. So I only bought spot. I only bought it spot because I'm just trying to protect my savings against the pound. To be honest, and I was like, look, QNT looks like it's going to rip a little bit. Has ripped, and I've taken my profit. So it's actually made me like. I didn't know it in dollars, but I think it's made me about probably like 20% or something, like maybe a bit more than that.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. What's good? We'll just end on a bit of XRP, but I think what I was looking for, especially yesterday as well, because this is why I was a bit worried. But we've done so well to get above that 200 MA, this red line here on the weekly, and we're currently sitting back above it now. So that's all that I kind of care about is when I was looking at the charts, even today, seeing this 4% swing, we're back above that 200 MA. I'm trying to see what it's at the moment.
It looks like if it closes somewhere around here, it looks like it's teeing up for a rip. It looks like it's teeing up for a rip.
Yeah, like I say, if it's bullish enough to hold that 200 MA, which a lot of cryptocurrencies aren't really managing right now, it shows how bullish everyone is on XRP specifically.
Yeah, that chart makes me feel good that weekly.
It is. To be fair, for the first time in a long time, XRP is actually looking very nice in comparison to Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those bigger names as well. Which is a change. It's a good change because we never see that. It's always the other way around.
Yeah, I know. Bitcoin has been holding its range though, which is quite interesting. It's just going to be interesting today to see what happens. Yeah, I know but it hasn't like set any lower lows. It's just kind of chilled while stocks have actually come a little bit further down. It is consolidating for a move one way or another. But I'm very interested today to see what happens with the American markets. Very interested. Like if we have a red day in the American markets, we could easily swing back red on crypto. If we have a green day or sideways, we could continue on the upside for crypto as well. So I don't want to speak too soon because I am scared of the fake out.
It's getting a bit shaky in the good old Nasdaq and your traditional markets. But to be fair, look at the Dow Jones, absolutely ripped yesterday and even pre-market today. But like you said, today is a pretty big day. I think like Blockchain made a back. I watched this morning on YouTube, saying the same thing in terms of like. Blockchain made a backer, but he was saying the same thing. Like he was just looking to see how the stock market would play out today, because obviously there's a big correlation between crypto and normal stock market. But we need something good from the stock markets at the moment. Otherwise, everything's just going to go. But again, today's a big day. Today's a big day.
Like Janet Yellen's comment might be decent, and I think Joe Biden came out and said something about inflation that made like the time when he said it, then that's when the market's like reversed. He said something like, I don't want to misquote it, but something like last quarter it was like 11% inflation, and this quarter it's only been 2% or something. So something like that, and the markets rallied after that. But I mean, I don't know how he's come up with this formula, but it's Biden, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't trust anything in that guy. So it's like I honestly don't listen to what he says anymore. But yeah, I think that's a wrap for the news and the charts this week. Just end on slagging Joe Biden now. Sorry to any Joe Biden fans out there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many, but
and with that, it's a piece of 8 down for me. We'll see you at week 28.
Peace out.